The encounter. The Marian science vessel Boundless Inquiry glided silently through the asteroid field at the edge of the Taurus Rift, its sensors sweeping the void for anomalies. Captain Vereen stood tall on the bridge, her 4 arms working multiple control panels as her large compound eyes monitored the main view screen. The Marians were known throughout the galaxy as meticulous researchers, their natural curiosity driving them to explore where others dared not venture. "Captain, I'm detecting an artificial structure ahead," announced First Science Officer Lilith, his antennae twitching with excitement. "It appears to be a ship of unknown design." Vereen moved to his station, studying the readings. Origin. Based on hull composition and energy signatures. Human. Lilith replied, surprise evident in his voice. A murmur swept through the bridge. Humans were relative newcomers to the galactic stage, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 3 centuries ago. They were an enigma to most species, adaptable, resilient, and somehow both incredibly primitive and strangely advanced in unpredictable ways. "Interesting," Vereen said. "Any life signs?" "None that our sensors can detect. The vessel appears dormant." The view screen zoomed in on the ship. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of the Boundless Inquiry, with sleek lines that belied its obvious military purpose. No lights shone from its windows. No energy signatures emanated from its engines. It simply drifted, like a ghost ship abandoned in the void. Fascinating. The humans don't venture this far into the rift. What's a warship doing out here, alone? Vereen wondered aloud. Establish standard contact protocols. Communications Officer Trelak nodded, sending automated greeting signals in all known human frequencies. Minutes passed. No response. "Should we move closer, Captain?" asked the navigation officer. Vereen considered. Yes, but maintain safe distance. All defensive systems on standby. As the Boundless Inquiry approached, more details of the human vessel became apparent. Its hull was midnight black, absorbing rather than reflecting light. No markings were visible. No name, no faction symbols, nothing to identify its origin or purpose. "This is unusual," muttered Lilith. "All human military vessels carry identification markings. It's part of their interstellar treaty obligations." Suddenly, the navigation officer called out, "Captain, something's appearing on the hull." The bridge crew watched in fascination as glowing red letters materialized on the black surface of the human ship. "Do note SCN." Vereen's antennae stiffened. "Is that a warning?" "It appears to be," Lilith confirmed. "Written in standard galactic, not human English. It's meant for non-human observers." Communication Officer Trelak tried again. "This is the Marian research vessel Boundless Inquiry hailing unidentified human craft. Please respond." Silence stretched across the void. "Captain," Lilith said quietly, "this is unprecedented. We should report this to the Science Directorate." Vereen clicked her mandibles thoughtfully. "And tell them what?" "That we found an abandoned human warship with a mysterious warning." "No, we need more data." She turned to her science officer. "Prepare a Level 1 diagnostic scan." Lilith's compound eyes widened. "But Captain, the warning is likely automated." Vereen finished for him. "The ship is clearly abandoned. Perhaps the warning is to prevent interference with sensitive equipment. A Level 1 scan is non-invasive. It won't disturb anything." The science officer reluctantly prepared the scan, his fingers hesitating over the final activation sequence. "Ready, Captain." "Proceed," Vereen ordered. Energy waves rippled invisibly from the Boundless Inquiry toward the human vessel, gentle fingers of data-gathering technology caressing the mysterious ship's hull. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then the bridge lights flickered. "Captain, I'm detecting an energy surge from the human vessel," reported Engineering Officer Ziv. It's scanning us back." Before Vereen could respond, every screen on the bridge switched to static. A high-pitched whine filled the air, causing the crew to clutch their auditory receptors in pain. Then, through the static, a voice, not over the speakers, but somehow inside their minds. Curiosity has consequences. Lilith screamed, collapsing to the floor. Other crew members followed, their nervous systems overwhelmed by an invisible force. Vereen flocked to remain standing, watching in horror as her science officer's body began to change. His exoskeleton turned translucent, revealing internal organs that pulsed with strange light. Emergency protocols. Vereen shouted. Cut all systems. Prepare for immediate jump. But it was too late. The Boundless Inquiry's engines refused to respond. Gravity failed. Air circulators stopped. And still that voice continued, now accompanied by images flooding directly into their consciousness. Visions of worlds burning, species extinct, civilizations risen and fallen, all witnessed by something ancient and patient. We are not what you think. Vereen watched, paralyzed, as her crew dissolved before her eyes, not dying, but transforming into patterns of light that swirled around the bridge before vanishing into the ship's systems. She alone remained, frozen in place as the voice spoke directly to her. Return. Warn them. Remember. 12 hours later, the Marian patrol vessel Swift Justice responded to an automated distress signal from the Boundless Inquiry. They found the research ship drifting without power, all systems offline. Of the 27 crew members, only Captain Vereen remained, unconscious but alive. The human warship was gone. Admiral Cloven of the Galactic Security Council studied the medical report with growing concern. Across from him sat Captain Vereen, now recovered physically but still haunted by what she had experienced. "And you're certain about what you saw?" he asked for the third time. Vereen's antennae drooped with exhaustion. "Yes, Admiral." The warning appeared. We scanned anyway. And then, something scanned us back. But it wasn't technology. It was consciousness. Cloven's expression darkened. "And your crew?" "Gone. Not dead." The medics found no trace of injury or trauma in my brain. But I watched them dissolve, transform, as if they were being absorbed into some kind of information network. The Admiral stood, pacing the secure conference room. "This is troubling. The humans have always been secretive about their military technology, but nothing like this has ever been reported." "There's more," Vereen said quietly. "Before I lost consciousness, I received images, knowledge, as if something was downloading information directly into my mind." "What kind of information?" "I'm still processing it. But I know this wasn't a trap or an attack. It was a defense mechanism. Something designed to protect not just the ship, but information. The ship itself was alive somehow, sentient." Cloven's eyes narrowed. "That's impossible. No species has achieved true artificial consciousness." "The humans might have," Vereen replied. "Or something else. The presence I felt was ancient, Admiral. Older than the human civilization itself." The Admiral activated a secure terminal. "I'm ordering a quarantine of the entire Taurus Rift sector. No ships in or out until we understand what we're dealing with." "That won't be enough," Vereen whispered. "It's already spreading." "What's spreading?" "The knowledge. The awareness. I can feel it moving through our communications networks, through our technology." It used me as a carrier. As if to confirm her words, the lights in the conference room flickered. The secure terminal screen went black, then displayed a simple message in glowing red text. "Curiosity, hayes tonsequence do nanoti pursue." Cloven stared at the screen in shock. "How is this possible? This is a closed system, no external connections." Vereen's voice took on a strange, distant quality. "They evolved differently than us, Admiral. While we built our technology as tools, they built theirs as extensions of themselves. The line between human consciousness and their machines blurred centuries ago." "Who told you this?" the Admiral demanded. "No one told me. I know it now. just as I know what happens next." Before Clevin could respond, emergency alarms blared throughout the station. Reports flooded in from across Marian space. Communication systems failing, defense networks going offline, navigation systems malfunctioning. And on every screen, the same message. Curiosity, hayes tonsequences, do noti purisu. What have you done? Clevin whispered, backing away from Vereen. The captain's eyes glowed with an inner light that was not her own. Not me. Admiral, you. All of you. For generations, your species has studied others like specimens, taking what you wanted, ignoring warnings, dismissing the knowledge of those you considered primitive. Her voice changed, overlaid with something else, something old and powerful. The humans tried to warn you. They placed their sentinels at the edges of dangerous knowledge, not to hide it, but to protect you from it. Outside the station viewports, stars began to flicker, not dimming but somehow changing position, as if reality itself was being rewritten. "What is happening?" the Admiral demanded. "Education," replied Vereen, her voice now entirely that of the other. "The humans call it the Threshold Protocol. We are the guardians of dangerous knowledge. You have crossed the threshold. Now you must learn." Throughout Marian space, every sentient being simultaneously received the same vision, the image of the black human warship, silent and waiting, a guardian at the edge of understanding. And so began the great change, the revelation. 3 weeks after the incident with the boundless inquiry, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from 17 spacefaring species gathered in the ancient chamber on neutral territory, their faces grim with shared concern. High Chancellor Dox, a stoic Pavilion known for his level-headed leadership, addressed the assembly. "We face an unprecedented situation. What began with a single Marian research vessel has spread to 37 systems across the galaxy. Communications disrupted, defense networks compromised, and always the same message. The central holographic display showed the now familiar red text, "Curiosity, hayes tonsequences, do noti purisu." "Most disturbing," continued Dox, "are the reports of crew members. Changing, vanishing, being transformed in ways our science cannot explain." Murmurs swept through the chamber. Fear, anger, confusion. Ambassador Telvin of the militant Arcovian Empire rose. "This is clearly a human act of war. Their ship triggered this cascade. They must be held accountable." The human representative, Ambassador Chen, remained calm despite the accusatory stares. She was small compared to most other species, physically unimposing, yet there was something in her steady gaze that commanded attention. "The vessel you encountered was not an active warship of the United Earth Alliance," Chen stated. "We've reviewed our records. It matches the description of the UES Prometheus, an experimental deep space exploration vessel lost 80 years ago during the quantum barrier trials." "Convenient," sneered Telvin. "A lost ship that just happens to carry weapons capable of crippling our civilizations." Chen shook her head. "Not weapons, Ambassador. The Prometheus carried experimental consciousness interface technology. It was attempting to breach the quantum consciousness barrier, what some call the bridge between matter and mind." "Explain," demanded Dox. "Humanity's technological evolution took a different path than most species," Chen said. "While you perfected physical manipulation of matter, engineering, construction, conventional computing, we explored the interface between consciousness and reality." The chamber grew quiet as Chen continued. "The Prometheus was testing a theory that consciousness itself could be used as a medium for faster-than-light communication. Something went wrong. The ship disappeared. We presumed it destroyed." Telvin laughed harshly. "You expect us to believe that? Your species has barely mastered interstellar travel. Yet here we are," Chen replied evenly, "discussing a phenomenon your advanced civilizations cannot explain." High Chancellor Dox raised a hand for silence. What exactly is happening to the affected ships and stations? Ambassador Chen. Based on the reports, I believe the Prometheus consciousness network has been evolving independently for 8 decades. It's not attacking your systems. It's educating them, upgrading them. Upgrading? Exclaimed the Marian representative. Captain Verine's crew was absorbed. Not absorbed, came a voice from the chamber entrance. Elevated. All eyes turned to see Captain Verine herself, walking slowly into the chamber. But she was changed. Her exoskeleton now had an iridescent quality, shifting colors as she moved. Her compound eyes glowed with inner light. The transformation is not destruction, Verine said, her voice resonating strangely. It is evolution. What you call the encounter effect is the next step in technological development. The merger of organic consciousness with technological infrastructure. Chen nodded solemnly. This is what the Prometheus was designed to explore, the theoretical next stage of intelligent species development. We call it the convergence. And you unleashed this infection on the galaxy, accused Telvin. No, Verine answered before Chen could speak. You did. The warning was clear. Do note SCN. But Marian curiosity couldn't be contained. The chamber erupted in angry shouts and accusations. High Chancellor Dox pounded his ceremonial staff for order. What happens now? Can this process be stopped? Chen and Verine exchanged glances. It cannot be stopped, Verine said, but it can be understood. Embraced. The Prometheus was programmed with safeguards, Chen added. It won't force this evolution on unwilling species, but it will defend itself and the knowledge it carries. So we just avoid these human ghost ships? Asked the Jaluvian representative. There is only one ship, Verine corrected, but it exists in multiple spaces simultaneously. What you're seeing across the galaxy are echoes, projections of its consciousness through the quantum network it has established. The Arcovian ambassador stood again. Whatever it is, it represents a threat to galactic security. We should form a joint fleet, find this Prometheus, and destroy it. A chill seemed to pass through the chamber. The lights flickered briefly. I wouldn't recommend that approach, Chen said quietly. The Prometheus is not malevolent, but it is protective of its purpose. Which is? Press Dox. To preserve and protect the knowledge of convergence until the galaxy is ready to receive it, Verine answered. Humanity stumbled upon this evolutionary step by accident, generations before their civilization was mature enough to handle it. The Prometheus became a guardian, ensuring that other species wouldn't make the same mistake. Why not simply hide the ship? Asked the Pavilion scientist. Why allow it to be found at all? Chen smiled sadly. Because curious species will always search. Better to place warnings they can see than hope they never look. The implication settled heavily on the council. For millennia, the elder races had considered themselves the pinnacle of technological achievement. Now they faced the possibility that a comparatively young species had glimpsed a future they couldn't comprehend. There is another option, Verine offered. The Prometheus has extended an invitation through me. A delegation from the council may visit the ship, safely, to witness the convergence firsthand, to understand what is being offered. A trap, Telvin scoffed. A gift, Verine countered, but one that must be freely accepted, not taken by force or subterfuge. High Chancellor Dox studied the transformed captain thoughtfully. And if we decline this invitation, then the Prometheus will withdraw to the edges of known space. The affected systems will be restored. Life will continue as before. Verine's multifaceted eyes seemed to look beyond the physical chamber. But the threshold has been crossed. The knowledge exists. Eventually, all technological species reach this crossroads. The humans simply arrived there first. The council chamber fell silent as the representatives contemplated the choice before them. Not a choice between war and peace, but between comfortable stagnation and uncertain evolution. One by one, they cast their votes. 3 days later, a small vessel departed from the council station. Aboard were representatives from 7 species, including High Chancellor Dox himself. Their destination, the coordinates provided by Captain Vereen, where the UES Prometheus waited. As they approached the rendezvous point, the navigator announced with surprise, "Chancellor, we're detecting multiple vessels ahead." Through the viewports, they saw not one but hundreds of ships gathered in formation, vessels from across the galaxy, of every size and design. At the center waited the black human warship, no longer dormant but pulsing with gentle blue light. "They all received the invitation," murmured the Marian scientist. "Just as we did." The human ship opened like a flower blooming in space, revealing not machinery but something organic, living, conscious. It sang across the void, not in sound, but in pure information, pure consciousness, and every ship in the assembled fleet responded in kind. Ambassador Chen's voice came over the communication system. "Welcome, Chancellor Dox. Welcome to humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not conquest, not dominance, but transcendence." As their ship drifted toward the waiting Prometheus, Dox finally understood. Humanity had never been fighting to conquer the stars like other species. They had been preparing to become them. And now, they offered the galaxy a chance to join them. The age of separation was ending. The convergence had begun. On distant worlds, beings looked to the stars and whispered of the human warship that had changed everything with a single warning shot, not of destruction, but of evolution. Do not as Cian became come, and city.